Living on the earth. Living on the earth. National Geographic Society. Living in arid land. Previous page. 투아렉 크래프트맨이 나이저 fire hardens soft stones armling saw to bring rock to its wear. Yeah. Water more precious than diamond in a dusty land selects the thirsty of a boy on Aboriginal land in Australia, Gibson Desert. Behind him, a windmill's skeletal shadow falls across the landscape. Yeah, that one. A windmill skeletal shadow falls across the landscape that gets less than 10 inches of rainfall a year. Today, nearly 1 billion people inhabit the world's arid range. More than 100 nations face the threat of expanding deserts, for which man and nature often share the blame. I tell you, the sick Mohammed al-Rashid, and he sat in his comfortably appointed living room on the outskirts of Kuwait City. Today's generation has lost touch with the land. The 92-year-old patriarch had been regaling family and friends with the tale of desert life in days gone by, long before the discovery of vast oil deposits transformed this once somnolent fishing, fowling, and trading village on the Persian Gulf into a 20th century high-rise metropolis of steel and concrete and glass. My own son, he said, gesturing to a handsome group of Western-educated professionals, would be lost in the desert just a few kilometers from where we live. Weren't you ever lost in the desert? Teases one of the sons. Never, asserted the world skis. Even in the worst of dust and sandstorms, my companions and I could find our way without a compass, and bow in the direction of Mecca for our prayers. How? He went on. He felt the stones on the ground. Their pitty surface always faced northwest, because this is the direction from which the summer wind blows. As he listened to his extraordinary man, I noticed that his attire did not differ markedly from that of his sons. All wore the full-length robe called Dishidasha and Guhutra, a white head covering. But what a difference between the life experience of these two generations. As a child, the Sikh had lived in a mud brick house, sleeping and playing on sheep's wool logs. His children, by contrast, had grown to adulthood in a spacious villa furnished with bed and sofas, and with convenience such as plumbing and electricity, air conditioning, air television. The town of his youth, and unrecognizable now. Oil revenue have poured its growth into a sprawling city with scarcely a pitted stone left to point direction. The ski and his traveling companion had bowed toward Mocha in prayer 5 times a day. His son, because of the demand of modern life, barely find time to pray once or twice a day. Ski or Rashid had lived through many changes, some of them drastic. Now he feels uneasy, fearful that the desert life he had known as vanishing like water cast on burning sand. Throughout the world, arid land cultures have evolved in different ways, but all have responded to the same environmental constraint, dryness. By one traditional measure, only place that received less than 10 inches of rain a year can be defined as a desert. But precipitation alone does not tell the tale. Evaporation, too, played an important part, as do other factors such as soil and vegetation. In part of the Sahara, Peruvian, and Atacama deserts, solar and ground radiation can be evaporated up to 200 times the moisture received, making these deserts the world's driest. Atmospheric conditions produce most of the large desert, the Sahara, the desert of Central and Western Australia, and the arid arc that sweeps from northwestern India and southern Pakistan through Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, and the Arabian Peninsula. These arid ranges coincide with twin high pressure areas of dry air that encircle the globe roughly along the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Other deserts exist because of their remoteness from the ocean with their moisture-laden air masses. Such is the case with the Turkestan Desert and the Gobi of Central Asia. Still others, including the Patagonian Desert of South America, are formed in places where mountains intercept moisture-carrying winds, creating arid rain shadows on their leeward sides. Cold ocean current, too, by cooling the air above them, keep rain clouds from forming, a temperature inversion condition largely responsible for South America's Atacama Desert and the Namib Desert along the coast of southwestern Africa. Deserts make up about a fifth of Earth's landmass, include the semi-arid lands that often border them, areas such as the Great Basin of North America and the arid regions around the Caspian Sea of Europe, and the proportion increased to a third. These semi-deserts mostly scrubland and seasonal grassland blend almost imperceptibly into true desert. If irrigated or blessed with adequate rain, some semi-desert can support farm crops and rushy pasturage. But when the rain falls, as they have in the Sahel region bordering the Sahara, famine and disease can wreak havoc. Desert and semi-desert scrubland that often border them cover about a third of the Earth's land surface. By one definition, a desert gets 10 inches or less of rain a year, little enough moisture to qualify the polar regions as desert. Some semi-desert, including those in part of the American West and in Africa get enough water in good year to support crops and pasturage. This map shows where such arid land would be if humans did not alter the earth. Africa's Sahel, for example, would reverse to grassland. Most arid areas lie along the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, where global weather patterns create high pressure zones lacking in moisture. Mountains, too, can block rain clouds, creating arid areas like those in the lee of the Rockies and in the Takilimakan of western China. Still, other deserts lie near cold ocean currents that cool the air above, inhibiting the formation of rain clouds. Desert and semi-desert. Equator. Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Cancer. North America. South America. Caribbean Desert, Atacama Desert, Patagonian Desert. Australia, Great Sand Desert, Gibson Desert, Simpson Desert, Great Victoria Desert, Strut Stony Desert. Sahara, Namib Desert, Kalahari Desert, Arabian Desert, Turkestan Desert, Takilimakan Desert, Gobi,